So today we are going to discuss a chapter you can see here, life processes. Its name itself saying that the processes which are required for maintaining life in living organisms. We know that life exists in living organisms, so the processes which occurs in living organisms continuously to maintain and sustain its life are life processes. Don't think that this is lithium, this is iron, lithium iron processes. No, these are life processes. So before knowing what are life processes, we have to know what are living and what are non-living organisms, because only in living organisms life processes occur. So we have to know what are living and what are non-living. So if you look in the environment, you may see cats moving, dogs running. They all move around, so you can say these are living. But what about plants? Plants doesn't move at all. You may say they grow, but they take much time to grow. You may say they have green leaves which in turn become yellow, but I can say that some plants are yellow in color even when they are living. So visible movements is not a criteria for understanding whether this is a living organism or not. Means if you see at a cat when it is sleeping, it is not moving at all. So you cannot say by seeing its visible movement whether it is a living or non-living. So exactly knowing whether it is living or non-living, we have to go into its inner structure. We have to see its molecules. We have to see. First of all, we have read in class 9 that living organisms are made up of specialized structures known as cells. They are made up of cells, maybe like this. Not like this, they are much more specialized. In cells, they may contact with the environment. So it is likely to happen that from environment they may come in contact with various gases, various things. So it is likely to happen that their structure will going to destroy. So the cell must continuously repair its structure to be called as living. Otherwise it will die in contact with the environment. Environment is degrading it. It is disturbing its specialized structures. So the cell must do some movements for protecting it, or you may say repairing it. So if you look at molecular level of this cell, you may see molecular movement as it is continuously repairing it or maintaining itself for be called as living. So you can see their molecular movement will happen. So for calling anything a living organism, we must need some criteria. First of all, we've gone through that they must have molecular movement. Secondly, they must have cellular structures, we have read in class 9. And thirdly, you can see, if you touch a cat or if you kick a cat, it will likely to bite you. If you touch a chumui plant, it will close its leaves. So third criteria is that they shows response in stimuli of the environment. stimuli means change in environment. Yeah, then you may say that a normal plant doesn't show any response in touch. But if you see, in response of sunlight, you may have done it in earlier classes, that if you took a plant in a dark room and then provide a little bit of sunlight, the plant will move toward that sunlight. So every living being, even unicellular organisms like bacteria, if you provide any type of medicines on it, it will make its membrane impermeable so that the medicines don't enter into it. But it is not always that it will make himself alive. It may die in this, but he will try to live. You can see, if there is something hot and if you touch, you suddenly took your hands off. Your hands may burn, but thereafter also you take your hands. So you may say the third criteria is that in stimuli of the environment they will show a response. So we have now learned that in living organisms there are three criteria, means for calling anything a living organisms, there are three criteria to be fulfilled. One, molecular movement. Secondly, must have a well developed cellular structure. And thirdly, must show response in environment, in stimuli of the environment. And there is also a thing, viruses doesn't show any response in the environment, and they doesn't also have a well developed structure, cellular structure. But when they enter into any host cell like human beings, they start to divide rapidly. So scientists call it a intermediate between living and non-living. They doesn't consider it as living because it doesn't have a proper cell structure, it doesn't respond in changes of environment. But when it enters host cell, it starts dividing. So it is an intermediate between living and non